Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you? All of you are fine.
Fine, ma'am.
Okay. So, can you name any breed from the northeastern states? Any indigenous fowls? Yes.
Chittagong, ma'am. Chittagong.
Chittagong and any other?
Miri.
Miri. Yes. Any other?
Dotagir.
Dautiger. Okay. So we were discussing about the backyard poultry strains which has been developed for the development of backyard poultry. So already the breeds that has been developed we have already discussed. So today in just you have to know the names actually, okay, from where it has been released. And if you can remember what are the breeds that have been involved, it is well and good. But you have to know the names and who, which institute they have developed, and in which year it was released. Okay, that much you have to know for each breed if it is available. So Vanraja is a very important breed. They could cater to the needs of the farmers, and they have been developed by the Project Directorate on Poultry or Director of Poultry Research, Hyderabad. Okay, they have evolved this Vanraja and they have released in 1998. Next is Giriraja. This Giriraja has been released by the University of Agricultural Sciences, Karnataka in the year 1989. Okay, so this breed is very popular nowadays. Even in northeastern states, many farms are having this Giriraja. So the breed used are the Plymouth Rock, Cornish, and the Hampshire, New Hampshire. So by now you know all these breeds. Okay, that is the White Plymouth or the Cornish. White Plymouth is a variety. Actually, the breed is the Plymouth Rock, then Cornish, and the New Hampshire. Why they have used the red Cornish is that they wanted for this backyard poultry they did not want the white color. Okay, they wanted some colored birds. Okay, that is why they used as red Cornish, so that the plumage color, when it is colorful, they can easily escape the predators. Okay, when once they go into the jungles they will not be visible, but if they are white in color then it is difficult. Okay, so that is why the white is not preferred in case of this backyard poultry, and their production is high. They can produce around 180 to 200 eggs, even it may go up to 230 eggs. Okay, so Giriraja is another backyard strain. Now remember these two strains, okay, Vanraja and Giriraja. Vanraja has been developed by Hyderabad, that is Director of Research, Hyderabad, also known as Project Directorate of Poultry, Hyderabad, PDP Hyderabad. Before it was known as PDP Hyderabad. And next is the University of Agricultural Sciences, Karnataka. Okay, that is Bangalore, and in the year 1989. So try to remember these two strains, okay, because these two strains have gained popularity in the country, and this has been distributed to the farmers so that they can have a backyard strain which is at par with that of the local breeds in terms of resistant to diseases, in terms of adaptability, and at par with the commercial strains in regard to production. Are you getting my point? Are you getting or not? Means why this backyard strains has been developed in order to develop the poultry production in the rural areas. Okay, that was the main motto, so that farmers, by giving little input without giving concentrates and all, they can rear these backyard strains and they can increase their production, so that it is good for their own needs also, and whatever extra is there, they can easily sell it in the market. Okay, so these are the two very important strains. Try to remember what is Vanraja and what is Giriraja. Next is Swarnadhara. This is another strain which has been developed by Karnataka Veterinary Animal and Fisheries Sciences University, and they have released Swarnadhara chicken, which is smaller than Giriraja, but they produce more egg. Okay, so Swarnadhara is a sequely to the development of Giriraja. Giriraja came first. Okay, Giriraja was the strain which came 10 years before Vanraja. So Giriraja was the first strain that has been developed. So after that, they have also developed Swarnadhara, which is higher in production than that of the Giriraja. Then next, Kerry came into existence. That is Central Avian Research Institute, and they have also started producing all of these different types of strains. And Kerrygold is one of them. Kerrygold, it was developed using the Rhode Island Red. Do you remember Rhode Island Red? So they have used the male line from Rhode Island Red and the white leghorn as the female line, which is comparable to Grand Prix in its performance. Now remember that these are the exotic lines that they have used. Along with that, they have used the indigenous lines. Okay, they are not using only the exotic lines. The indigenous lines will be there while producing this backyard strain. So and this one is comparable to Grama Priya in its performance. So we will see what this Grama Priya in the subsequent slide. So this is again a Kerry Nirvik. Okay, but these they have been developed, but it is in and around UP. You are going to see these strains. These strains were not very much distributed to other parts of the country like Vanraja and Giriraja. Vanraja and Giriraja, they have gained popularity because they were the birds which were introduced first. Okay, so introduced first, so it was released in different states of the country, and so those are very popular. Okay, and you will find those. But this strains which has been developed by Kerry, it is from research outcomes. It is a result of some research, and they have been distributed in and around UP, but they haven't gained so much popularity in other parts of the country, but they are also very good backyard strains. Okay, so Kerry Nirvik, it is developed using Acyl. Acyl, you remember? No response.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the other name of Acyl? It is known for what?
Game purpose.
Game purpose, yes, game purpose or fighting nature. They are having fighting nature, so different types of game purpose they have been used. And with that of the Kerry Red, Kerry Red is another strain that has been developed in Kerry. So the body weight is around 1.8 kg, egg weight is around 54 grams, much higher than that of the local one. No need to remember all these things. Okay, just try that what is Kerry Nirvik. Okay, it is a backyard strain. Next is Keri Shama. Keri Shama, from the term itself, Shama, why they have used is that the color of the bird, and definitely one of the breed that has been used is Karaknath. Since Karaknath is blackish in nature, actually it is a dark bluish in nature. From that, the term Keri Shama has come, because the product that the bird is having dark meat, and it is having dark bluish this one coloration. Okay, so the one of the breed that has been used is Karaknath, along with Keri Red they have developed. So this is Keri Shama. These are all products from Central Avian Research Institute. Hit curry. Hit curry is another product from Keri. It is developed by crossing naked neck chicken. Okay, naked neck chicken with Delham Red breed. This is another breed. So this is another backyard strain. Just try to remember the names. Okay. Keri Sonali is a very good egg producer that has been developed for egg production. This HHED, okay, have you seen this HHED and HDEP? That means hen house egg production, okay, and this is hen day egg production, HHEP, not D, okay, hen house egg production and hen day egg production. So we will discuss. For the time being, just remember that this is nothing but the egg production, okay. We will discuss what are all these in the economy when we discuss about the economic traits. Then Keri also has developed Keri Devendra. Okay, Keri Devendra is another breed, and they have used RIR as the female line. Next is Rajeshri, another breed, AICRP on poultry breeding, that is Venkateshwar Veterinary University, Hyderabad. They have developed this Rajeshri, and this synthetic variety was named as Rajeshri, capable of producing about 150 to 170 eggs per year. So try to remember who has developed, okay, Rajeshri. Next is Krishi Bro and Gramapriya. Krishi Bro and Gramapriya is another product after Vanraja, that is on Hyderabad. Okay, that is Director of Research, Hyderabad. Director of Research, that is Hyderabad. So after the success of this Vanraja as well as Gramapriya, they have also developed this Krishi Bro. Okay, they have taken into consideration like what are the lacunae are there in case of Vanraja. On the basis of that, they have developed this Krishi Bro and Gramapriya. And these birds have more white plumage, medium in size, and have good egg laying capacity. Okay, they have good egg laying capacity. Cockerels are best suited for tandoori chicken preparation. Okay, so they have very they are good for meat as well as for egg production, because they have used this white leghorn, okay, as a female line. Because of that, the color of the plumage is white in color. Okay, so Krishi Bro and Gramapriya, and this has been developed. So these are the backyard strains. I have given you the name, but out of these, since Krishi Bro, Gramapriya, and Keri Devendra, Keri Sonali, then Rajeshri, and all these are for research purpose they have developed. Some drawbacks also is there, but these are any of these strains can be used by the farmers for the upliftment of their meat production as well as the egg production. But out of all these backyard strains, I am repeatedly telling that Vanraja and Giriraja has gone to the even the remotest villages. Okay, people are rearing in almost all parts of the country. You are going to get this Vanraja and Giriraja. Giriraja has gained more popularity than Vanraja also. Okay, so these two, apart from these two, you are having so many, like Keri has developed around 10, 12 strains, and then PTP also they have developed Krishi Pro and Chromopia. So depending upon for what purpose you need, the farmers need, they can go ahead with that, because backyard poultry is a very important part of the for increasing the egg as well as the meat production in the rural areas, and also to reduce the gap between the availability of these eggs as well as the meat in the rural population. Because if you ask them to rear 10,000 numbers of broilers, commercial broilers, or 10,000 numbers of commercial layers, they will not be able to go ahead with that, okay? Because lots of input will be required when we go for the commercial type of production. So commercial type of production will be there side by side with that of the backyard poultry production, because commercial is a separate chapter in order to adhere to the needs of a huge population, Indian population. We have to go for the commercial type. So big businessmen are there. They can go ahead with those commercial broiler production as well as commercial layer production. But the backyard poultry production, if it goes side by side in the rural areas, okay, in the rural areas, if we can advise the farmers to rear any of these backyard strains instead of going for the local indigenous birds, and they can go ahead with this, like 20, 50 numbers of birds they can rear without any input, just like the indigenous breeds, and in the same time they will get a larger egg, more egg production, as well as the body weight of the birds will also be more than that of the indigenous birds. But in the long run, we have to conserve the indigenous birds also. So that part is also there. But from side by side, this backyard poultry production can also be taken up by the farmers. That is why nowadays we are advising the farmers to go for at least 10, 20 numbers of these backyard strains, either Giriraja or Vanraja or Gramapia or any strain that is available in the state. They can go ahead, so that they can uplift their nutritional requirement also, and also they can cater to the needs of the people. Okay. Any questions regarding this topic? All of you are hearing or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then we will go to the next. Yes? Next, we will go to the next topic. Let me start the next topic. I may not be able to finish because this is a very important topic and I cannot go very fast also, because you have to understand properly what is this. Now, when we say brooding, what do you mean by brooding? Any idea? Any idea? Someone?
Ma'am, new chicks.
New chicks. New chicks means brooding or what? Management of new chicks, you mean? Yes, anybody? Management of new chicks is brooding. What actually we do when we do brooding? Are you hearing or sleeping or seeing mobile?
Yes, ma'am.
We are hearing.
You are hearing. So what is brooding? What do you mean by brooding?
Yes, ma'am.
Management of new chicks.
Management of new chicks. Now, the term brooding we will use in two ways. Okay, one is management of the young chicks, and another term that we are using for brooding is that the indigenous birds, they have a tendency to brood the eggs, or to brood the chickens. So in case of that natural, we use brooding for both the cases. Okay, for hatching purpose, for giving temperature to the eggs for hatching purpose, and also to give temperature to the chicks. Actually, brooding, by brooding we mean giving of extra heat. Okay, brooding means giving of additional heat either to the eggs when it is done naturally for hatching purpose, and to the chicks when after they are hatched out. Okay, so we will use this brooding for both the cases, but usually under the artificial management, when we are going for the artificial type of management of the chick, not naturally. Okay, we usually say that brooding of the chicks. Okay, brooding of chicks, that is giving of extra heat or additional heat to the chicks immediately after they are hashed out. Okay, so what is brooding? It is a mechanism of providing auxiliary or supplementary heat to chicks through artificial heat using brooders. Whatever equipment we are going to use for giving that extra heat, it is known as brooders. Okay, so don't confuse. Even for indigenous birds, like asil, okay, let us consider asil. Asil is an indigenous bird. So when the asil hen lay the eggs, they will sit on the eggs for 21 days or more than that, 22 to 21 to 23 days. They will sit on the eggs just to give warm or just to give heat to the eggs, so that the embryo develops and they hatch out as chicks. And even after the chicks are hatched out, the mother will give extra heat to the chicks, so that the chicks, they grow, and until and unless the feathers comes out, the heat will be given by the mother itself. So the whole process is known as brooding. Okay, but when we do it artificially, suppose when in case of commercial layers, or in case of birds which we are having, suppose in our farm we are having the birds, different types of breeds are there, like white leghorn we are having. So when the white leghorn breeds, when we are keeping the males and females together, we are getting the fertile eggs. Okay, so when we collect the fertile eggs, we usually put it in an equipment that is known as incubator. Okay, we put it in the incubator for 21 days, and then the chicks will hatch out. Now that is known as incubation. We will not say that as brooding. Are you getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is known as incubation. That is keeping the eggs in the incubator. The equipment is known as incubator. Keeping the eggs in the incubator for the embryo to develop for a certain period of time. That is, there is a specific time in the incubator for the chicks to hatch out. That is known as incubation. So after hatching out, when we put the chicks in an equipment called brooder, we give them extra heat to the chicks at least for 2 to 3 weeks, because their body mechanism, they do not have the body mechanism to produce the heat during the first few days of their life. So we are going to give them extra heat to the chicks through artificial means, and that is known as brooding. Are you getting my point? So today we will discuss about that brooding. Next is, what are the essentials of a good brooder? Okay, when we select a brooder, brooder means the equipment which will give heat to the chicks. Okay, that is known as brooder. When we select a brooder, it has to be a dependable mechanism. It should supply fresh air. It should provide dry. It should keep the environment dry. Then adequate space should be there, easy for cleaning and disinfection, protection against enemies, and safety from fire and economy. Okay, safety from fire, and it should be economical. So these are the essentials of a good brooder. So on the basis of that, you can select different types of brooders. So what are the different types of brooders? Slides are not visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Your slide is not changing.
Slide is not changing. Now it is coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So the different types of brooders that you can use are the hover brooders. Just know the name. I will show you. Okay, in the subsequent slides, I'll show you what are those
Can you
hover
please show the
brooders.
first,
Yes.
ma'am, can you please show from the first slide?
First slide. Oh, you are not seeing from the beginning.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is brooding. Brooding means providing extra heat to the chicks through artificial heat. Then these are the essentials of a good brooder. It should be you should be completely dependent on that. It should supply fresh air. It should provide dryness to the environment. It should be of adequate space, easy for cleaning and disinfection, and protection against enemies, and safety from fire and economy. So whatever type of brooder you are going to use, you have to see that all these things are there. Okay. Next is the different types of brooders. One is the hover brooders. Another one is infrared brooders. Then you can also go for central heating system. You can go for battery brooders. You can go for gas brooding, and that is with the help of gas brooders. You can also go for kerosene or charcoal stove. So different types of brooders you can use. Your main aim is to provide extra heat to the chicks so that the chicks are not feeling cold and they do not suffer from any mortality. Okay, so since their body mechanism is not developed during the first few days, you will have to give them extra heat. So how much heat and all that we will discuss. Okay, so your main aim for brooder or to brooding is to give extra heat to the chicks. Next is the hover brooders. These type of hover brooders are widely used in India wherever electricity is available. Okay, and they maintain uniform temperature, convenient for operation, and require very little attention. So let's see what is the hover brooder looks like. This is a hover brooder. This green one, have you this one, have you seen? This is a gas brooder. Huh? Have you seen this one? Like shade type.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is known as a hover brooder. Not the above one. Okay, above one is different. This one, the down one, this is known as the hover brooder. So inside this hover brooder, lights, bulbs will be there. So when we put it on the electricity, then the bulbs will be on, and the chicks, they will remain inside that hover brooder in order to get the warmth. Okay, so but if it is too hot, then the chicks will come out of the hover brooder. Okay, so in order to keep the chicks under the hover brooder, we usually use some types of these barriers which are known as the chick guards. So this type is known as a hover brooder. You can put the hover brooder on the ground. Okay, so some space will be there under which they can come and go. Okay, And inside this brooder, you will be having bulbs. So different types of, you can use 100 watts or 200 watts bulb in order to give warmth to the birds. Okay. Now, if the birds come away from the hover brooder, then you will know that the temperature inside is too hot. Then you can remove 1 or 2 bulbs so that the temperature is maintained. Okay. Next is infrared brooders. Infrared lamps also you can use, and these do not heat the room but warm the chicks. Okay, and a single 250 watt infrared bulb will give warmth for 60 to 70 chicks. So infrared brooders also you can use. So this is an infrared brooder. Okay. So usually you are going to put suspended from the top, and the birds will remain underneath that brooder in order to get the heat. Okay. Next is central heating system. Now, central heating system is completely different. The whole room will be heated up. Okay, several different systems have been developed which use coal, oil, gas, or electricity as fuel. Under this system, heated air or water is circulated in pipelines underneath the building to maintain warmth inside the house. So in this type of, now whenever we say about this like hover brooder, the whole room will not be heated up. Okay, only the area where the brooder is there, usually that area is heated up. Okay, underneath the brooder, it is usually heated up, and the surrounding area will be cold. But in this type of central heating system, the whole room will be heated up. Okay, and it is completely mechanized, and you will be having the temperature, the thermometer outside the room, which will show you what is the temperature, and accordingly you can reduce and increase the temperature. Okay, the whole room will be heated up. You don't bother where the chicks will be. Suppose you are having 10,000 numbers of chicks or 50,000 numbers of chicks, so you cannot go for brooding and all those things. So instead of going for this hover brooders or any type of brooders hanging from the roof and all, you can go for central heating system if you have money. If lots of birds you are going to give, like 10,000, 50,000 birds when you are keeping, then you can go for the central heating system, so that the whole room will be the temperature will be maintained. Usually the temperature that is maintained is 95 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, during the first week it should be 95 degree Fahrenheit. So this is this one. Now this is a battery brooder which you are going to see in our farm when you come back. This is a battery brooder. Battery means compartment. Okay, see here, this is a brooder, we can say. So inside there are compartments. So when you inside, we will have the bulbs. So when we put, the bird will not go here and there. Okay, so this type of brooders also, it is very economical because so many birds you can keep at one time. Okay, when you go for this type of brooding, since floor you are going to use, lots of floor space will be required. But when you go for this tire system of brooding, and inside each compartment there will be bulb, and you can just heat the put on the bulbs, and the heat will be provided, and you are going to keep the chicks here. First thing is that you can save them from any predators, and secondly is that it is hygienic. No litter material is required, and cleaning and all can be done very easily. Okay, so this is and since it is all electrically operated, usually thermometers used to be there, and accordingly you can reduce the bulbs, and with the help of knob you can reduce the temperatures also. Okay, suppose 4 bulbs are there and the temperature is going more than 95, then automatically 1 bulb will be put it off. Okay, so when there will be the automatic knobs will be there, which will automatically regulate the temperature. Okay, so this is a battery brooder. Next is gas brooding. Again, gas brooding means a brooder which is going to use gas cylinder. Okay, instead of, suppose in some area where electricity is not there, you can go for this type of brooder which is operated with the help of a gas. Okay, so this type of brooder also can be used. Okay. Next is kerosene or charcoal stove. This is another type, but the major problem with this is if ventilation is not adequate, then the toxic gases produced by the stoves, they get accumulated and they may affect the birds. So this is the most easiest way of heating, easiest way of providing heat to the birds, and it can be done without, where electricity is not available, it can be done. Okay, so this type, okay, you can put this type of lamps. Have you seen anybody? Because nowadays these types of lamps are not available.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can use this type of lamps. You can use charcoal in a pot. You can use this type of charcoal brooder heater also. You can use, because your main aim is to provide additional heat to the birds so that they do not feel cold unless and until their body mechanism is sufficient to produce heat inside the body. Okay, and because of that, since they are very much sensitive, you have to provide additional heat during the first few days of life, particularly for the first 2 weeks after after they hatch out. Okay, after they hatch out, you have to give them extra heat. So how you are going to give the heat, that will depend upon the availability of current, availability of different types of brooders, economic point of view, how much the farmer can spend, and all those things. Starting from this charcoal type to central heating system, any of the brooders you can use for brooding the chicks. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have to know this terminology. What is brooding? Very important. Now, brooding for commercial purpose means giving of additional heat to the chicks after they are hatched out. Okay, that is brooding. Also, brooding is used for indigenous birds when the mother, they sit on the eggs for hatching purpose, and also they give extra heat to the chicks after they are hatched out. That is also known as brooding. But for commercial purpose, we use the term brooding for giving of additional heat to the chicks after they are hatched out. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, this central heating and other heating systems comes under brooding.
Yes, it comes under brooding. Brooding only. What we are discussing today is brooding only. That means giving of extra heat. How you are going to give extra heat? Because
at all.
So connectivity problem was there. So any query regarding today's class?
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
So in the next class, we will discuss about how to prepare the shed and all for the brooding purpose. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you,
Welcome.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.